Bruh, there is a lot going on in the city of Revere. There's a lot going on my street. Keep them off my street. Keep them not in my backyard. Spazzing Out America's podcast. I'm a little bit pissed off, and I'm going to get to it. You can get my podcast, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify. Wherever you get your podcast, you can get my podcast. Currently, I am live on YouTube, I am live on Twitch, and I'm live on Rumble. Sometimes I do it on Twitter. I go back and forth. I don't know. It's how I feel at the moment. So you can watch the actual video. I post the video on AnthonyPazziali.com. You can see it right here on the bottom of the screen, AnthonyPazziali.com. You can watch the video, or of course, just listen to the audio version of the podcast. And a lot of people do. Close to 10,000 people listened on Spotify the last podcast I posted. I'm somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 every time I post a podcast. Not that many people watching the videos. Can't get people to flip over to the video. Subscribe to me anywhere you listen, right? So if you listen or if you watch Spazzing Out America's podcast, subscribe. Like the kids say, smash the sub button and subscribe, because that's how I get paid. That's how I make money off this podcast, because I get a little advertising loot. Don't make much money, but I make money. I make money, maybe $200 a week or something like that. I'd like to make more. I'd like this to be my full-time gig where I just come into my basement and I bitch. All right, I need to talk about a personal issue. A problem here in Revere, Massachusetts, but I guess it's not just a personal thing for me. It's close to home for me because it's 4 houses away from where I live, and my 8-year-old daughter lives, and my 15-year-old son lives, and other kids in the neighborhood, and a park, and the beach. Right up here on Revere Beach. So, on my street, Arcadia Street, I'll just say it, I don't care, I live on Arcadia Street in Revere, there is going to be a homeless shelter of some sort. There's going to be some kind of some BS educational facility put on my street. Let me break it down so you guys can understand the whole situation. There is a law in Massachusetts. It is a state law that allows anybody to have some kind of an educational facility, right? And they can skip the zoning. No need for zoning. Educational facilities that are run by nonprofit organizations can turn any dwelling into an educational facility. The problem is, in Massachusetts, educational facility is a gray area. I spent the entire night reading decisions against or for this law. The law is called the Dover Amendment. The Dover Amendment skips zoning. So, for example, these people, they want to put a homeless educational facility with 24 beds. They're going to have 24 homeless people living 4 houses from where I am, deemed an educational facility. So the city's not fighting it. The city's like, nothing we can do. And trust me, since 1950, since this law has been enacted, or is that what you were saying, enacted? Since this law has been in place, nobody has won a case. It has been to the Massachusetts Supreme Court a bunch of times, and every single time they have said, nope, can't help you. And homeless shelters, methadone clinics, all sorts of places for drug addicts and alcoholics have been passed, have been okayed, yes, they are educational facilities. Apparently being fucking homeless makes it an educational facility, which we know is bullshit. Massachusetts just needs a place to put these people. Well, not on my fucking street. I don't want homeless people on my street. Before I get passionate about it, because I am pretty pissed off about it, and I want to break it down like this. I am 100% a not in my backyard type of person. But before you grill me, before you give me shit, understand this. I am first and foremost a dad. I love being a father. It's my number one job. I have a beautiful 8-year-old daughter. I love her to death. I grew up in a house with a drug-addicted mother and an alcoholic mom. I still love my mom, but that was hell. And it was goddamn hell for my brothers, and it was even more hell for my younger brother, Jamie, who got towed around by my mom because he wasn't old enough to come with us. And went from house to house, dealing with all sorts of scumbags. Homeless people bring scumbags. I'm going to see I'm getting pissed. I'm getting fucking pissed. Getting pissed because I'm sick and tired of people that don't know what the situation is like trying to tell me that it's okay. Here in Revere, Catherine Clark, she is the majority whip That makes her the second in command of the Democrats. She lives on the other end of the beach from me. Jessica Giannino, who is my state rep. State rep being the fact that she's at the state level. Goes to Beacon Hill. She lives in Revere. Of course, the mayor and the city councilman, they all live here. If this house was being built, if this organization, and the organization is Bay Cove, it's Bay Cove Human Resource, it's Bay Cove something, Bay Cove Human Resources Facility. It doesn't matter, right? Because Maura Healey loves this organization, who's the new governor of Massachusetts, does speeches for them. They got the green light. They'll put these houses anywhere they want. They'll put them next to your house. They'll put them anywhere. All under the guise of this bullshit law called the Dover Amendment. Now, let me explain to you why I don't want homeless people in my neighborhood. So we'll first start off with this fact. Sure, the homeless people need a place to go, and they need to get better. But they don't need to do it in a residential area where there are kids, where there are families, where there are fucking people that have worked their ass off to get away from fucking homeless people. I didn't buy a house on a fucking beach to have fucking homeless people living next to me. So that's one. That's my American dream. My American dream wasn't let me work my ass off, let my wife work her ass off so we can have a house on the beach with fucking homeless people living there. No, thank you. Round them up, put them in the back of the take junk truck, and get them the fuck out of here. That's just me being pissed because I worked my ass off my entire life to get away from a drug addict. I worked my whole goddamn life to get away from them, and they're fucking moving them into my neighborhood like it's no big deal. So there's just me venting, being pissed. Now let's calm down. Let me be a dad. Let me dad it up. I've interacted with a lot of homeless people over the years. I go down on Mass Ave all the time. I used to do it all the time for entertainment purposes for the radio. And I would talk with these people. They're really not bad people. They're down and out, but they're fucking druggies. Most of them are druggies. Most of them are alcoholics. Most of them are bums and losers. I don't want my kids associating with shit. But you know what? For the most part, when the kids are around homeless people, they're nice. They don't swear. They're very kind. But you know what happens? When you get the drug-addicted mom living in that, she's one of the 25 people living there. The drug-addicted dad's living there. Well, the crazy boyfriend shows up randomly at 2 a.m. The crazy, do you understand what I'm saying? The crazy kooks that hang out with them show up whenever they want. They go up and down the street. They grab every single door on the car to see if there's something there. If they see a dollar, they smash and grab. Not to mention, I don't know if this is an open policy place. Is this a you can show up and get in? Is it going to be a you can show up and get in type of place? Are they going to move Tent City right here on my street? It's enough to get a man pissed. And I don't want to hear it from people that will tell me that you don't know if they're druggies. They're fucking druggies. You don't know if they're alcoholics. They are. You don't know if they steal. Bro, they fucking steal. They belong with Ursula. They are the poor, unfortunate souls at the bottom of the fucking ocean, and I want them out of my neighborhood, away from my kids. That's how pissed off I am about it. But now let's talk about the city council, because I'm even more pissed off. So there, I vented. I feel better about it. So now with this bill, the Dover Amendment, it is basically next to impossible to tell these facilities they can't build. To tell these facilities they can't turn a 2-family house into one of these educational facilities because it's a statute, right? It's a law. So I reached out to I'm going to my city council meeting tonight. I reached out to my city council. I also reached out to the city. I reached out to the city solicitor. That's the city attorney. And I asked them if they're going to sue. They said they have these damage control teams that say, no, we're not going to sue because it's going to cost too much money. I wrote a letter to the solicitor and I said that it is his job to defend the rights of to defend the city and to defend the rights of the people in the city. And Massachusetts, and this stupid law, they are overreaching their power. They don't have the right to decide the zoning laws in my neighborhood. Massachusetts is overreaching in their ability and their authority. Not to mention its public safety issues. Now, there are a few ways to go around this, right? So, for example, the building inspector is going to pass it. because he doesn't want to deal with the lawsuit. It's not going to go to the zoning. So then your next recourse would be the zoning board of appeals. They're not going to take it either. The mayor doesn't want it. City councilman, they don't want it. Jessica Giannino, oh, none of us want it. But my hands are tied. So I called and I talked to someone over at City Hall and I said, it's kind of funny that your hands are tied. I wonder how tied your hands would be if I bought a property next to Catherine Clark's house on the opposite end of the beach and decided to make it a homeless shelter. I bet your hands wouldn't be tied then. I bet you if I bought a house next to the building inspector, next to his house, and wanted to put the homeless shelter there, your hands wouldn't be tied. I bet you if I put it next to the mayor's house, your hands wouldn't be tied. I bet you if we plopped it next to Jessica Giannino's house, the city's hands wouldn't be tied. Their hands are only tied because they don't want to fight. And if you don't want to fight for me, then get the fuck out of city council. We don't want you. You have to understand, it is a city councilor's job, first and foremost, to represent the citizens of that city. That's what you got elected to do. So when I'm at home and I'm sleeping and I'm hanging out with my kids, I'm not worrying about what's going on in the city because that's your job. Your job is to worry about what's going on in the city. It's not my job. I fucking throw trash in the back of a truck and I do a podcast. That's my job. Your job is to make sure that my kids are safe. Your job is to make sure you're doing everything you can to protect the rights of the people that live in this city, and you're not doing your job, and you're backing down because you know why? Because you don't want people to know what you really think. No one likes fucking homeless people. Nobody. And anybody that tells you they do, they're full of shit. Do people deserve a second chance? Absolutely. But you know what? Just like you don't slaughter the cow and you're at the supermarket, like when you go to the supermarket, when you're at Market Basket, are they dicing the cow up right there in the middle of the aisle? No. They take that shit and they do it behind the scenes. The slaughterhouses are in the fucking woods, bro. They're not plucking chickens right in front of you. So take the people, the mentally disabled, the drug addicts, the homeless people, the dredges of the universe, and take them and fucking take them up into Vermont until they get better, and then they can assimilate back into society. Then they can come back down. Don't put them in my neighborhood where my kids are going to be, where my house is, where my car is. It's going to cause problems. I'm telling you, one of these mutants, there's going to be zombies walking up and down my street. One of these fucking mutants touches my kid. Oh, fuck. Woo! If people care so much about the homeless, then why are they even homeless? And by this, I mean, if you feel so strongly about the homeless, why is your kid on the street? Why is your wife on the street? Why is your daughter, your son, your nephew, your brother, whoever they are, why are they on the street? You care so much about the homeless. They're on the street because they are they're on the street because they're crap. They're druggies. They're alcoholics. They can't even help themselves. And when they do find somebody, because I dealt with it, when someone is willing to help them out, they take advantage of them. It took me years to get over and to move on from a druggie, to move on from an alcoholic, to be okay with myself for turning my back on this person that ruined my brother's lives, that stole from me repeatedly, that treated me like shit, talked shit about my dad. Took me forever. I still talk to my mom. Fuck, I love her. But she's not in. She's not part of the family, really. As you can tell, I'm really upset about it. And I'm glad that I get to yell and scream and get it out on the podcast right now about it, because I have to calm down. I have to be calm and cool when I'm talking in front of the city council. But I would say this. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that there is not some kind of a mental educational facility, drug addiction educational facility, homeless educational facility, alcohol addiction educational facility, a halfway house, a prisoner facility, whatever it is, educational wise, I'm doing everything I can in my power to keep them off of my street. That's when my baby grows up. That's my girl. My grandfather, I hate this shit, but my grandfather and my dad didn't move to the United States of America to give me a better life so that I could buy a house up on the beach in Revere to live next to homeless fucking people that won't even help themselves. That's not the American dream. The American dream isn't Massachusetts forcing me to live next to the unfortunate. I don't want to live next to the unfortunate, and I don't want to be forced to move, which is look like what's going to have to happen. I'm probably going to have to sell my house and move. I'm telling you what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bus homeless people to their houses. If they put this thing on my street, I am going to start busing homeless people to these people's houses. So here's what's happening. The owner of the property, the person who's going to buy the property, he owns a shop here in Revere. I'm not going to say what it is, but he owns an auto body shop, right? Not the mechanical kind, the kind that works on the body of the shop. It's a pretty big one here in Revere. I'm going to bus homeless people to his business. I'm going to bus homeless people to Catherine Clark's house. I'm going to bus homeless people to Jessica Giannino's, to the mayor's, to Argo or Alago, whatever the hell his name is. I'm sending homeless people to your house. I'm going to go to Meth Mile. I'm going to pay these people. I'm going to get them in my fucking truck and I'm going to drive them. I'm going to drop them off at your house. You're going to have zombies in front of your house every single day. And now let's not forget, for a good 5 years before COVID hit, I was in real estate investment. I flipped 31 houses. I will get back into house flipping. And I will buy a fucking house next to I will buy a house in all your neighborhoods. And I will work out the same deal. I will go to this, what was it? The Bay Cove Human Resources Services Company. And I'll go to them and I'll say, hey, look, I bought this property right next to Catherine Clark's. Let's put some homeless people here. And the people get, oh, you're a scumbag. Bullshit. Anybody that calls me a scumbag, hit me up, DM me, and I'll bring some homeless people to your house. I'll bring some homeless people. We'll drop them off for dinner. Feel the same way about the immigrants. You want immigrants? You want illegal immigrants here? Let's bring them to your house. You want homeless people? You fucking take them. Not on my street. Not in my neighborhood. No, thank you. All right, that's it. I'm done bitching. It's fucked up. It's completely bullshit that Massachusetts has a law called the Dover Amendment where they can overreach, they can decide, they can waive local zoning laws. They can say, nah, we'll put whatever we want here, whether you like it or not. We don't care if you pay taxes. We don't care if it's the best neighborhood on the planet. We don't give a shit. We're bringing druggies into your neighborhood and you got to deal with it. And if you don't like it, go fuck yourself. I have a problem with that. I'm working on it. Trust me, I'm working on it. I'm doing it. People care about second chances. I'm doing everything I can to clean up my background, to clean up the stupid things that I did as a kid. I'll never deny the things I did. I'll never deny stupid stuff. I'll never deny running a business like a shithead. But I'm doing everything I can to get on the straight and narrow. And when I do, I'm telling you guys, I will run for office and I will come after all these motherfuckers. Every single one of them. Every single last one of them. Every single mutant that thinks it's okay, that they can overtake, that they can take their power and tell me what to do, and tell my family what to do, and put my family in harm's way. I will come for you. I will do the same in kind to you. All right. Thank you for listening to Spazzing Out. Later. I got to go to the city council meeting.